means we have to move faster when we get going. So, let's see. Call to order and roll call. I'm calling the meeting to order, and Antonio, you doing roll call? You want somebody else to?
Yes.
Yes, what?
I'm sorry. My apologies. Hello, good evening, everyone.
You're right, you're good.
Okay, I'm gonna call this meeting to,
You don't, all you have to do is do a roll.
and ANC 106 E01,
Present.
02,
Here.
3,
Present.
4,
Here.
5,
Here.
6, here, 7.
Here.
We have 4.
Thank you very much. Has everyone had a chance to look at the agenda and make sure that I have not left anything out, or Alex and Mike in corrections has not added something?
I move that we add consideration of the quarterly report at the end, after treasurer's report.
You got it, dude. Anyone else have changes to the agenda? Okey dokey.
Do we have a second on the?
I second.
Approving it, okay.
I didn't have a motion.
So I second.
Kevin made the motion,
Right,
Alex second.
okay.
All right, our gentleman in blue.
You vote on the motion to.
We did, didn't we? Oh, I'm sorry. Really not with it tonight. I need a vote on the agenda, approval of the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, the agenda stands. Okay, Mr. Eck. Gentleman in blue, who wants to go first? You guys.
Yes, I can go first.
Okay.
Hi, good evening. I'm Lieutenant Murphy from the 1st District, and I have the stats that was prepared by our crime analysis person for the ANC 6E area. For the past 30 days compared to the same time period last year, violent crime is down 50%. Property crime is up 13%, and what's driving that are burglaries. We had 8 burglaries compared to only 3 the same time last year. Also driving up the property crime is theft from autos. We've had 47 theft from autos in the past 30 days compared to 25 the same time period last year. So overall, for the last 30 days, we have an increase of 1% total crime. Year-to-date stats, let's see, our total year-to-date, we are at minus 12, 15% reduction in violent crime, and a 12% reduction overall in property crime. For the breakdown for 1D, for the last 30 days, we've had, and this is in the area of ANC 6E, we had 2 robberies, 3 assaults with a dangerous weapon, 2 burglaries, 12 theft from autos, and 2 motor vehicle thefts. So, my PSA is PSA 103, and just to give you an idea, PSA 103 is, the boundaries are New York Avenue down to Independence Avenue, southwest, 4th Street to 1st Street northeast. And for our total crime for the last 30 days, we're at minus 23%. So we've had a couple issues up in North Capitol Street and New York Avenue. We had some shootings back and forth taking place over in 5D, PSA 501, and the guys coming over to 1D shooting into PSA 103. We had an individual that was shot. Let's see. It's actually the 26th of May, about a quarter of 12 at night. Individual was shot twice in the back. We actually recovered the gun and also a hat that we believe one of the suspects was wearing. So we have detectives working on the case now. We have 2 suspects in mind that we think are involved, but until we have more information, we can't apply for a warrant for any arrest right now. So, any questions or anything for 1D? Okay, thank you.
3D,
Good evening, everybody. I'm Officer Berlin, patrolling PSA 308. Met a bunch of you before. You probably seen me walking around out there. I'm going to report specifically on PSA 308, since that's the area that I patrol. We've had 2 robberies in the last 30 days, 1500 7th Street and 1116 7th Street. 1500 7th Street occurred on May 30th, and it was 5 to 10 juveniles. They stole an individual's basketball shoes and iPhone. And another robbery occurred on May 5th, 1116 7th Street. The plaintiff was struck in the head, nothing was taken. In terms of burglaries, we had 3 burglaries. May 8th at 1534 6th Street. 3 juvenile suspects entered a home and stole a cell phone. 2 of the juveniles were arrested soon thereafter. May 12th on McCullough Court, we had a key stolen from a storage bin, and they entered into the apartment and ransacked the apartment. I don't have specifics on what they got away with. Nobody was apprehended in that. And May 13th, we had another burglary on 440 Warner Street. They entered through an unsecured window. So everybody, please secure your ground level windows, even your second floor windows, to prevent from this happening to your house or apartment. We had 1 ADW. It was listed on the crime report that I received as an altercation between a library staff member and a citizen. There was no further information that I got on the crime report, so I'll have to look into exactly what transpired there.
Was it here in the library?
That's what it said on the crime report that I read today. I took the information off that and sort of condensed it on my own sheet, so that was the only information I was able to extrapolate from there. Thefts from auto continue to be an issue in PSA 308. Again, please, don't leave your valuables in your car. Make sure your car is locked, and if you have out-of-town guests or people with out-of-state plates, make sure there's nothing visible in the car that anybody can see, because they're breaking into a lot of cars on Marion Street. We're getting quite a few, and on the border with 307 on 9th Street, in the southern end of 9th Street, right by the Marriott. The last point of discussion will be the homicide on May 25th, 8:50 p.m., 600 block of O Street. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. It's been a big topic of conversation in the neighborhood. A young lady was murdered on the Monday of Memorial Day weekend. They're still investigating the homicide. There's quite a few leads from what I understand. We're not privy to a lot of the information the detectives have, but they're working on the case right now. Does anybody have any questions about that or anything else having to do with PSA 308? Yes, sir.
One question about your current tour of duty. What are your hours that we should expect to see you on the street?
I am working from, I hit the street at 11 o'clock in the morning, but I walk from the station, 1620 V Street, down to, it's about 1.5 miles to the center of my patrol area from our station. And I leave the beat anywhere from 6:30 to 7 o'clock, just depending on what I'm involved in, so I can get back in time to check off by 7:30. And I work Tuesday through Saturday. So you'll see me out there walking around with my new partner, Jimmy. I have a new partner for the summer.
and he's gonna be
Officer
working with
Monahan,
you?
yeah,
Oh, company.
yeah, so.
So can
Feel
can
free.
Jimmy expand and like go a little bit further south into 6004? Or can you not cross that border of O Street or N Street or whatever it is?
As it stands right now, we have our actual designated patrol area is really only 2 blocks or 3 blocks of 7th Street. But we expand all the way sometimes to New Jersey, but at least to 5th Street and over to 9th Street from N to Rhode Island. And that's probably one of the biggest foot beats in the entire city. But we cover it, we're able to cover it effectively. Most foot beats are only 2 blocks. So to try to expand it further than that, it's going to be somewhat problematic in order to service that area effectively. But my suggestion is, squeaky wheel gets the grease. I've always said that in this meeting. Send an email to
Well, with
my
Lieutenant-
bosses.
Lieutenant- Yeah, so Lieutenant Green was on it, and then he left, so I
Right.
have to meet with Lieutenant Pierce about it.
Okay.
So, because there's that border, and then we have stuff happen in my area, and then it's like.
The footbeats are very effective if they're worked
Yes, we would love
correctly.
to have football.
Yeah, I mean, just seeing us out there walking around for 8 hours a day is a deterrent to crime, and hopefully it's helping you guys feel safer, in your daily activities in Shaw. Yes, sir.
I have a question, but I'm a little hesitant to ask it because I don't want to come off as being insensitive.
Right.
What is the acceptable time, what is the normal range of time that a street memorial remains on the sidewalk? I'm just curious.
I have no idea what the protocol is for that. And as you just alluded to, it's probably a very delicate subject to,
Just curious.
yeah, I don't know. I believe there's still some remnants of the memorial for the fire lieutenant that passed on. And it's not something that we would want to try to,
I understand.
yeah,
I
so,
don't want to come off
yeah,
as being
no,
insensitive. was
yeah,
just curious.
I don't know, sir, I'm sorry.
Okay.
There is
Yes, sir.
actually
Oh, go ahead.
There is actually a notification process, DPW, can put up signage that says that the memorial was scheduled to be removed by
At
a
a
certain
certain time.
date. And so that's an issue that I'm sure that the council member's office would be happy with looking at.
I just wanted to know, there was a shooting, I believe, last Monday over by Kennedy Rec Center. Is that,
That's the one we're talking about.
That's 600 block of O Street.
okay,
Yeah, the lady that was shot did pass away, I believe.
okay, so that is.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. because
Sure.
Day one, I received a text when somebody was on a moped. How did it change from a moped to I know the cameras said otherwise, but was the person in a car, was he on foot?
What we were told was that they were on a dirt bike. But there's some other issues involved there that I can't really go into in detail because it's a pending investigation, so.
So you can't even say if the person was on foot or in a car?
I mean, we don't really even know for sure. They're still pretty tight-lipped about what's been going on. They're securing video footage, they're interviewing. The homicide detectives that we have in MPD are extremely good at what they do. They have a very high clearance rate citywide for homicides. And my feeling is that they'll get to the bottom of it and there'll be an arrest. If there isn't already, they probably already know who's involved. They're either seeking a warrant or trying to get all the evidence together in order to make it as strong case as possible. Anybody else? Again, feel free to talk to us anytime on the street. You see us, wave us over. If you have things you want to discuss, areas you need us to put attention to, we'd be more than happy to discuss it with you.
What's Jimmy's last name?
Monahan. Jimmy Monahan.
Hello, Jimmy Monahan.
Hi.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Glad to have you with us. Okey doke, moving right along. The next area that we're going to touch on is the ABRA requests. And the first one for tonight is Texas de Brazil. Are you guys ready? Okay, come on.
Would you like us to stand?
Any place up front. Rosemary, could I just see you for 1 second before you begin? I didn't get back to you, I didn't get a chance. I need to make some changes, so I will retell some What's the best I can do? I will try, but I don't guarantee I think the same thing. That's perfect. Just so you know. that-
No problem. Good afternoon. My name is Rosemary Salguero, and I represent Texas de Brazil. And this is Carlos, the general manager. Texas de Brazil is a national chain. It's a Brazilian steakhouse, and it is opening at 455 Massachusetts Avenue in the old Buddha Bar location. The hours of operation are 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. It's a family-run establishment, kind of a location tourist destination. Carlos can
Yeah.
speak a little bit more
Yeah,
about.
it's, we like to call ourselves, it's a fine dining establishment, even though you can come as a casual dress, is family oriented. We serve, is a residential churrascaria, it's a continuous service time, 50 items at an area, different cuts of meats. We are owned by family. We started back in Texas about 16 years ago, and we've been expanding and growing and growing and growing, and finally, we have come to DC. We've been in Fairfax, that would be the closest location, for about 8 to 9 years already, and I don't know, just excited to be here.
So unlike its predecessor, there's no entertainment endorsement. This is purely a restaurant, and it will have valet on I Street, which we discussed with the commissioner, so that there will be no, kind of crowding or traffic in the front, although there will be a sign directing the valet to the back. And there will be a sidewalk cafe in front with about 68 seats. I don't know if we are asking for a stipulated license request to operate during the protest period. The protest period is until July 5th. And if there are any concerns or questions about the operation, we're
Yes,
definitely
so
open to any questions.
What time will be you all valet time? What will be you all valet time?
The valet time,
The valet time, we will start with serving dinner in the beginning, more likely around 4:30. Will be the starting time for the valet. When we span to the hours of operation during lunch, we not yet clear whether we're going to be offering valet. We understand that being in DC, we predict that most of the traffic during lunch hours is going to be foot traffic and people from the business nearby, as well as our neighbors and people in the offices. So we don't foresee doing valet during before 4:30. We dinner regular will start around 5 o'clock during the week. Bar opening at 4:30 for the patrons. They already arrived, so they can wait inside and while the table is being ready. But we don't foresee just yet. Even when we open, we're gonna start on lunches probably Fridays in the beginning, getting a better sense of the area, and then expanding towards the weekend. This is better until one becomes stronger and stronger and stronger, and then expanding to every day. But I say I really doubt that we're going to do ballet during the morning hours. We see it as a more, we're lucky enough, there is plenty of parking around. So I think it's more of offering extra service, extra touch to our guests, offering the ballet. That's why we have also chosen, put it in the I Street, because we are here. We don't, our patrons is going to be driving by. We want people to circulate, to see pass by, see, oh, there is a Texas de Brazil, and offering that service as an extension. No,
so
not
from
every day.
4:30 to about close, 11.
Yep.
And they did absolutely no problem agree to move it from Mass Avenue
From Mass Avenue to
around,
I Street.
instead of having valet on Mass Avenue, which would be crazy for traffic between 4:30 and 8-ish, when traffic is so bad. Without a problem, they've agreed to go around the corner to one of the back doors of their building and enter the valet people through the back entrance, which looks as nice as the front entrance. So it shouldn't be any issue for the parking or traffic along Mass Ave. So I appreciate that.
And we are asking for a stipulated license to operate during the tendency of the protest period.
So this applicant did come before the Commission's ABC licensing committee, and the committee voted to support the application and to recommend that the full commission support both the permanent and the stipulated licenses for Texas de Brazil.
Any discussion from Commissioner? Can we get a vote, make a motion and accept?
I'll move that ANC 6E support the application for permanent and stipulated licenses for Texas de Brazil at 450 Massachusetts Avenue Northwest, subject to the signing of the voluntary stipulated agreement.
A second. All in favor?
Aye. Any opposed?
Let's review this. Any abstention? You're in favor of this one? Okay. Then the motion has passed.
That was all
7-0-0.
seven, right? Okay.
We appreciate it, thank you, and we
you
welcome
very much.
everyone to the restaurant.
Yeah, we'll see you at
Can
dinner.
you send me that tonight?
I'll see if I can do it at the library and come down.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is an ABRA issue. It is not it's not one of our usual ABRA giving them a license things. It is an opposition. We'd like to get a resolution from this ANC to prevent a group called Drink the District to have its event at the corner of 5th and K. So what we'd like to do is get everybody to agree that for their next two events, we would like no liquor license to be issued to these folks. And just for your information, they did hold an event on Saturday. I took a decibel reading machine over between 1 and 4 for the first session of the thousands of people that were there, and the decibel readings ranged from 81 to 110. Normal for the day in the DC area is 60. So for the whole afternoon, they were well above noise level.
This is on the street corner?
Yeah, it's where the parking lot is, the Mark Park parking lot at 5th and K.
Across the street from Safeway.
Just right
Correct.
outside, a liquor license, they're drinking outside.
It's inside the
It's
parking lot.
inside a
They-
fenced parking lot, but the noise level is atrocious. We've had issues, not this particular event this past Saturday, but when they did them last year, people urinating on the streets, garbage not being picked up, drunks walking around, and thousands of people in that area making a lot of noise. There's bands, there's DJs, there's all sorts of stuff. And the people who actually live in the K, there are 54 units on the side that have to listen to that for 8 hours, and they strongly object. So they've asked that the ANC consider not issuing temporary licenses without having people come before this ANC to get them.
Well, what was the, so let me ask them, when did they come to us before? How was it, 2 years ago? How long was it, is it once a year? I don't remember. Does anyone remember?
Last year, they did 4 events.
But did they come to us that last year, or was it 2 years
They
prior?
have not, as far as I know, they have not come.
They don't have to come.
Well, what we're suggesting is we want ABRA to say they have to come in order to get that temporary license for one day because of the fact that we're having so many issues with noise and other more serious problems. And we do not really want thousands of people drinking and doing all that stuff on our corner.
But we can't tell ABRA, I mean, they don't have to come before us, that's the, I mean, I know, understand what you're saying, and certainly I've seen it, but they don't have to come before us, and so we can't tell ABRA to say they have to come before us, because they don't have to come before us.
So, but
ABRA,
it.
you don't have to.
We
but
can
the
request
commission-
that according to
Exactly.
ABRA.
And-
I spoke to ABRA, and they said that if we give them reasons to have them come before, for example, decibel readings being too high, people urinating on the street, trash all over the place and not being cleaned up, those kinds of things, then ABRA can say, you must go before the ANC in order to, before we will issue a temporary license.
So did you call them the past couple of weeks, or what did?
That's how I found out about asking for them to come and ask for
And what
temporary
did they tell you?
license. They told me they could. They could come before us and ask. We just had to send something to them requesting that. And they have 2 more events coming up.
What is that hour?
1 to 4 is the first session, and then 5 to 9 or 10 is the second
And when's the
session.
next one, at the end of June or July?
Yes, I believe it's at the end of June.
So how can they, but we're here now, they won't be able to come before us? If this is at the end of June.
Is this for future, like for the future? They was.
This is for the 2 events that are left for this year. We want them to have to come before the ANC before a temporary day liquor license is issued to them.
But if the next one's June, so we have to disregard the first, is it that you don't?
Or that we
you
would
know?
oppose it.
We oppose them getting it.
But they're not, they could have come here.
They could have, they didn't.
Doesn't seem like there was, did you ask them to come?
I did not ask them to come before the ANC, but I didn't know that.
That just doesn't seem fair then, that we can't. If they have their next event at the end of June, we don't know if they would have been amenable to coming tonight?
Do they already have permits though? Have they already?
No, we're talking about the Abra part.
Yeah.
The ABRA won't issue
Yeah.
the permit
They
until
come to the ANC.
no, they don't have to come before us, but they won't issue the permit until it's way closer to the due date of the event.
But I'm saying if we didn't give them a chance to come tonight, if you didn't ask them to come. I mean,
Well,
that only seems fair, so.
I personally am against them having liquor licenses for the 5,000 to 15,000 people that they anticipate. And it's crowded, it's noisy, it's screaming, it's people sitting on the curbs throwing their trash all over, it's people peeing everywhere. They think they're hiding, but they're not.
That's in the parking lot
The one, yeah,
across from City Vista.
correct.
You don't have bathrooms? You
Pardon
don't
me?
have bathrooms?
They have, but, you know,
How many people, how many bathrooms?
not enough bathrooms for the number of people. But also, once they leave the event, they gotta go. So they just go up to fences and into breezeways and other areas of buildings. And this has been going on not only this year, but last year. And so I would like to have a resolution that the ANC supports that ABRA insists that they come before the ANC before they will issue them a temporary liquor license for the date.
So this was discussed at the ABC licensing committee, and the committee agreed to recommend that the commission advise ABRA that the commission wishes to hear from the applicants for this particular event before the issuance of a license because of the number of challenges to peace, order, and quiet that have been experienced as a result of their past operations.
But we can't talk about June, June's done. Are we sure they're having an event in June, March?
I don't remember.
I think the spirit of what she's saying is maybe not, if I can interpret what you're saying, it's highly possible that this could be something that could be done at a later time, but still have the resolution dealt with, but let it be effective for the other parties when it take place. Because they had 4 last year, maybe another 4 or 5 this year. So even if June is not fair, then what about the other events?
They're scheduled for 3 events. I just feel that,
I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
you can decide for yourself how you feel. If you don't feel that the ANC can ask in a resolution form, then I will do it personally as an ANC for the single-member district and get 100 or 150 protesting names to go to ABRA, and they won't get a license at all anyway. Or I hope they won't.
I mean, I would support after June, because then they can have a chance in July. If they have an event in June, it's not right, so for us to say that. I would say anytime after June beyond.
I would agree with that. I mean, I don't think it's fair that they don't have an opportunity to come before their June event for us to say you have to come before us before you have an event, and we won't have a meeting until July. So I would agree for any event they have after June, that they should come before the commission before they get a liquor license.
Any other discussion?
I agree with
I think that's fair. Even though I agree with you, but I think what you said is fair. Give them a chance to respond, so.
Okay?
But I totally agree.
Yeah, so we support your march, it just has to be right for them, so like beyond,
Well, they only have 3 events. So what you're saying is I would have to allow them to have this horrible June event.
well, they're not here to defend themselves,
And,
Marge.
Excuse me?
They're not here to talk about it, or we don't know if they probably would have come tonight if they would have been invited. Let's make,
I don't think so.
well, but you don't know that, so,
They wouldn't meet with me.
well, like, you know.
We're also dealing with not just this year, but possibly next year as well. So
Yeah.
this could be a blueprint for
Yeah.
2016.
I would hope not. I hope the new building goes up before. They promised us last year they weren't coming back this year, and that's not what happened. And the last 3 years have been horrible, absolutely horrible.
This may be their last year.
One way or another.
Well, it's okay. I mean, let's just do the vote, and then I will take it as a personal SMD issue, and I will take it to Abra, because they told me how to go around and make sure that they don't get the license. So I thought it would be nice if this, if the ANC supported it, but, okay. I make a motion that ANC 6E write a resolution to restrict Drink the District from getting a 1-day license for its event for the 2 remaining events planned.
Why don't we say after July, or?
No, I don't want to say that.
And that you communicate that to Amber and the ABC.
Yes.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion?
I want to say after July, because it's not date specific, it won't.
Well, you're going to vote against it anyway, so what do you care?
You don't know that.
Um,
No question.
I can't vote it for way it's right
Okay,
now.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meg, it's not worded right.
I didn't ask for nays yet.
Okay.
So how many ayes were there? 3?
Yeah, after you talk to them.
4? Any nays?
Meg?
Nay.